And good morning, beautiful people. It is Tuesday, January 14th, 2020. Congratulations to the LSU Tigers on being the national champions of college football. It was a good game last night. It was a really good game last night. I had no idea what was going to happen. I learned quickly while we were doing the MegaCast, walking around in the pregame, that I did not know nearly enough about a lot of the players that were playing the football because we were walking past people, and I'm like, oh, my God, that guy looks really good. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's their number one wide receiver. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I've been calling these terrible games all year. I didn't get a chance to see these athletes. Joe Burrow last night built onto a legacy that is just going to be incredible. I think he obviously had a broken rib. I could say that on this show. I couldn't officially say it on the MegaCast. He played in a second half with a broken rib where it's very difficult to breathe. He played in a second half with a broken rib where it's very hard to open it up. And he willed his team to a national championship in their home state, and everybody lost their absolute mind. I loved it. Trevor Lawrence walked off the field underneath a purple and yellow confetti that I would assume is going to drive him to come back even better. Trevor Lawrence has never lost in college, so that means he has just a moment of motivation there while walking into that locker room. It looks like he is going to have a revenge tour, revenge body somehow next year, and I can't wait for that. Happy to hear he's going to come back and play football, though. I mean, I think that is something that we could definitely lock in. There's been conversations of him not coming back and playing because he's definitely going to be the number one pick, which I think is still true, by the way, regardless of what happened last night, regardless of the overthrows that he had, which was 12 or 13 of them last night. I think he was pressing a little bit because the LSU defense was so good, but I think he has to come back next year, and he's going to come back even better, which is good for college football. Joe Burrow, though. Dan Orlovsky and I, we walked home from the stadium with Adam and me, and we ran into the Chrisley family. Shout out to the Chrisley family, by the way. The littlest one, which I feel like I've watched growing up in the Chrisley Knows Best show. I guess he watches our stuff sometimes, so big fan of that kid. Also, the son, big fan of them. Shout out to the Chrisleys. I'm one of their biggest fans that exists just because Todd is electrifying. But as we were walking home, the conversation with LSU fans started to happen about how good Joe Burrow is. And I said, well, obviously he's going to go to Cincinnati. I said it there. And Dan Orlovsky is Dan Orlovsky, obviously. And I don't know if Dan was just trying to prod these drunk whites wearing LSU clothes. But he said somebody's going to go get him. Dan thinks there's a chance after that performance and how Joe has done all year that somebody is going to want to move and get up there. Ooh. And if Cincinnati lets that happen, that would be the most Cincinnati Bengal thing of all time. That guy has everything you need to be a franchise quarterback. He can throw the ball into a bucket. He proved that last night with Chase. I mean, he dropped balls right into a bucket. He has the most touchdowns in FBS history, and he played in the SEC. It wasn't like he was playing in the old Pac-12 or whatever, wherever there was just tempo throw, like Colt Brennan was in Hawaii or whatever. He played in the SEC, and he has the most touchdown passes in the history of college football. He has the highest completion percentage in the history of college football. He has this moxie and grit about him where we think he played through an entire broken rib, and he has this confidence about him and swagger that I think is maybe my favorite thing. No, he's smoking cigars and celebrating life afterwards. But look at that. It just came straight out of a movie. He just nodded his head with a cigar thing. But he has the humility. He has gratitude. He has every single character trait you could possibly want for a guy to be your franchise quarterback, let alone the thought that he had to sit on the bench or bet on himself and transfer and struggle, then do very well. So if Cincinnati lets that get out of their franchise, which until Dan mentioned it on the street last night to a very drunk white named Josh, I didn't even fathom it. Joe Burrow is going to be a superstar NFL quarterback. Superstar. In the fourth quarter there, after he led the comeback and his ribs are broken or whatever, the LSU crowd does this thing, I guess, where everybody the neck, right? They started playing that neck song. And you saw Ryan Clark doing it and Swagoo doing it. What they didn't show on the cast that they showed on the Jumbotron was Joe Burrow, like classic, just with his head like doing like this thing. And as soon as his face was shown there, eruption. I mean, it was absolute eruption. And when we were walking around in the pregame, he had this look on his face as if he knew everything that was just about to happen. There's just like, he has this confidence about him, yet humility. It's just, he has everything you could buy. And he's a lot faster, I think, than I even imagined after seeing him in person in that second quarter drive at the end of the half there, where he was getting out of the pocket and running a lot. I was like, damn, he's a lot faster than I thought he was. You factor that in with the winning trait that he has, and not only in basketball and everything that he does, this guy is a lock for the NFL, and I'll be interested to see if there's people making moves to try to get up there, because this is a guy you want on your team. And from what I've been told, I heard a story from one of the LSU scouts who used to be at West Virginia. There was a lot of West Virginia people on those teams last night. I'm learning that a lot of people in my past are on a lot of these teams, because I'm just walking by and people just like punch me, and I'm like, oh, look familiar. Oh, my God. You're at West Virginia? Like, oh, my God, what do you do now? I'm a scout here. There's a time this year, I guess, where ESPN wanted to interview Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow said, yeah, I got to go break down third down, though. They're like, no, this is real ESPN wants to talk to you. It's like, that doesn't help me break down third down. So you can tell ESPN to go ahead and put a pin in that. We'll circle back to that maybe an hour or two from now. I got to go do that. So obviously, if you go from throwing 16 touchdowns to 6 touchdowns, you have that work ethic in the film. He's already had an NFL offense. He is a home run for the NFL. And after watching him last night, that was just an incredible show. 10:07 here on the East Coast, 7:07 on the West Coast, and all the times in between. We got a good one here in Indianapolis. Foxy and I just landed like 4 hours ago. 1-833-622. We can't take phone calls because our thing's expired. But maybe we'll tweet us. Hashtag Pat McAfee Show Live if you have a question, because our phone system doesn't work. Can't wait to chat with you. We got Kenny Clark, D tackle for the Green Bay Packers from UCLA, joining us. Yeah. Baseball cheaters are fired. Zion Williamson sleeping on the bench. National championship. NFC, AFC championship. We got a lot to talk about. Let's have a day here. Evan Foxy, please play some Chase Rice.
It's the perfect occasion for a little vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication. 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show.
You're damn right it is, Chase Rice, being joined by all the boys here in Indianapolis. Boston, Connor Campbell is sitting on the couch. What you think last night, Connor?
Pretty unbelievable. The tank for Trevor Lawrence is on, though. He's heading to New England next year.
Wow. Yeah, so I guess there's some breaking news that was just released by somebody somewhere. I think it was CBS Sports Radio somewhere, maybe up in New England.
WEEI, yeah.
WEEI. The Tom Brady suite at Gillette Stadium has officially been completely cleaned out.
Yep.
You don't do that unless you're trying to get a little leverage play. I was going to retire like 4 seasons in a row before I actually retired and pulled the trigger. And before I actually, had enough gutsack to do it, I would put all my stuff in a garbage bag in my locker. And the equipment managers would all come out, well, what are we doing? What are we doing? You're going to have to put it all back. I'm like, I think I'm done, man. They're like, oh, you can't be done. And I take my name tag. Not the name tag. I'm like, I'm going to do it. Don't take the name tag. And I start peeling it off slowly like it's a movie. Like, don't you think... And I go, woo, off with it, into the garbage bag. And I put it over my shoulder and walk out. And the equipment manager would be like, well, there goes that man. It was like 3 years in a row it happened. And then this last one, when I did it, they knew it was for real. And they were like, this became an annual tradition for us. We enjoyed this a lot, but this is really it, huh, pal? I was like, yeah. And I left the name tag up there. Oh. And it was like a hilarious thought. I'm like, good luck taking that down. That's going to be on you guys to take that down and get me out of here. Like, don't you take that down. But Tom Brady moving all his stuff out of the suite in the stadium. Tom Brady opting out of the contract before the season started. Tom Brady not enjoying his offensive weapons that he had all year. Tom Brady handling the PR of this whole thing like a maestro handles an orchestra. I mean, this has been so perfectly played by Tom Brady. It just plays right into everybody's hands. Bob Kraft right now is panicking.
Oh, yeah.
Bob Kraft is full panicking because of that suite getting cleaned out. And every other GM is like, well, it's Joe Burrow was good last night. But there's a guy who's very handsome cleaning out his damn suite at the stadium. It's over. Julian Edelman's hopping up on top of people's Mercedes. I mean, it's all over, man.
That's a normal thing in Boston. He just happened to be in Beverly Hills. That's why he got in trouble. All right? It's a California problem.
What do we think happened? We never talked about that. I think that was probably somebody he thought he knew, Mercedes, and then whenever you got up on top of there, the person over was like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, oh, my God, I am so sorry. It's like when you somebody has like a long hair and you tap them on the back, you think it's somebody, and they turn around and you're like, oh, my God. I think that's probably what happened with Julian. The fact you're getting arrested for it, though, it's like, hey, Beverly Hills, could you be any more soft?
Give me a break.
Arresting people for hopping up on... and if you have a Mercedes, by the way, very nice car. I understand people are like, well, you shouldn't hop on a Mercedes. Yeah, you also have a plunger at your house, so you just get the dent out of the hood. I mean, what are we... Julian Edelman arrested for allegedly hopping on the hood of a car. It's like, arrested. Like, what are we... Can we not just give the guy like a... I don't know, hell, give him a $200,000 fine. Arresting somebody is insane to me.
East of the Mississippi, you're not getting arrested for that.
Well, I was walking down the street. I got arrested, shackled.
Are we east of the Mississippi?
Oh, my God,
Come on,
Diggs.
Tony.
Diggs.
Tony.
You and I went to the same
I
school
confused
system.
Ohio and Mississippi.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
You did.
No, you just went to Plumboro High School,
Yeah.
and you didn't learn anything because our teachers were trying to have sex with students the whole time.
Learned about that.
By the way, that was old Plumboro High School. Now they have new teachers that don't do that. Instead, they break into people's houses and steal from their neighbors. Get the broom! Oh, my God.
Proud of you guys for making it out of there.
What, Plum?
Yeah. The amount of stories you guys tell, it's unbelievable.
I mean, Pat made it out there.
Diggs another story.
I'll tell you, Phil, our CFO Phil, still lives in that town. And I think he feels as if he might be like the Bruce Wayne of that town or something.
The Rock and Walking Tall.
He does. I think.
Oh, yeah, that's a good comparison.
I think that's what he thinks he's going to be, like the mayor or whatever. And I appreciate him for that. I do. But I have so much spite for that place. I donated a gym back to the high school football team, you know. I mean, it was like a barn, but a bunch of weights and stuff in there. And they, you know, I think they appreciated it or whatever, but I did not enjoy my school experience. I had so many teachers tell me I was going to be working at BP and all this stuff just because I had dreams of being a millionaire instead of working at bum-ass Plum High School like everybody else does. I hated that place. Yeah, it's a good place, though. Raise a family. Let's go Mustangs. I forget what I was going to talk about. I was heading into something. I'm tired. Let's get to a break.
Hey,
Yeah.
can I just say that luckily for Cincinnati Bengals fans, because you got them worried, obviously, they don't even know that they're allowed to make trades, so they're going to get Burrow at 1.
What if Chris Ballard? Chris Ballard, who has $100 million or whatever to spend, has accrued some picks. He has 9 picks. Just goes ahead and goes, you know what I think? I think Joe Burrow deserves to be a Colt, not a Bengal. How many millions you need over there, Brown? Maybe build yourself an indoor facility. Send over $30 million. 10-14. And I need to tell you that the bowl season that was nothing short of spectacular that just wrapped up last night. We saw great games and performances all month long.
Oh, yeah.
And it ended with Clemson and LSU in the college football playoff championship game. Just last night down there in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. I called it the stadium one time. I called it the Dome one time. Turns out Superdome is the official title.
Because Atlanta messes that up.
Salute. Salute.
Oh, jeez.
Bless you.
Something just got all over my arm. Did you make the bowl season the greatest of all time? If
Yeah.
you did, I bet you ate a whole lot of Cheez-It snacks. The cheesy, country, and perfect satisfying snack that had your back all bowl season long. They were with you from Cheez-It Bowl in Phoenix all the way through the College Football Playoff Championship game down in New Orleans. And just because the greatest bowl season of all time is over, it doesn't mean your taste buds and cravings for Cheez-It are going to change. Be the MVP of all your upcoming football parties with Cheez-It. Cheez-It, official sponsor of the College Football Playoff. I don't know if there's a lot of Cheez-Its being eaten last night in New Orleans. Those LSU fans were intoxicated. Couldn't use some of those cards. We'll be back on the other side with some more conversation. Hopefully your phones worked. This is the Pat McAfee Show.
10 years ago, I had an undiagnosed heart condition, and erectile dysfunction was actually the first sign that something was wrong.
Luckily, I'm a doctor, an expert in sexual health, and Zach's dad.
Not everyone has a doctor in the house, and some health conditions can be really tough to talk about. We started Roman to change that.
Now you can go online and chat with a physician.
And if treatment is right for you, we'll ship genuine medication right to your door. If you're experiencing ED, hair loss, cold sores, or other issues, let's take care of it.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. It is Tuesday, January 14th, 2020. A little bit of a national championship hangover because of how awesome last night was down there in New Orleans. That thing really came around for LSU quickly. I mean, they were down, then they were up, then they pulled away, then the guy with the neck roll speared a guy.
When it was 17-7 Clemson, did it feel like Clemson was in charge? Because it didn't on TV.
Oh, see, it felt like it very much because Joe and them couldn't figure anything out. It felt like that Isaiah Simmons kid was just going to wreck the entire game, which he's going to make all the money in the NFL. I don't know. They're going to put weight on him, and he's going to be an outside linebacker for sure. They're like, there's conversations, I think, in the college world. It's like, well, is he going to be a safety? Is he going to be this? They're going to put like probably 20 pounds on him. He's going to be an outside linebacker, and he's going to be able to drop into coverage, get his picks and stuff like that. But him against tackles was going to be a lot of fun to watch for his entire NFL career because he just is a man. But it felt like Venables really had a good scheme to confuse Joe Burrow and Joe Brady. And I think if you watch that LSU team, I got a chance to watch a little bit of film, and A.Q. Shipley and I watched a little film together, actually. It was kind of it was a fun, this is the most prepared I ever felt going into a game. I just didn't know anybody's names, I only knew their numbers. So when they were wearing the T-shirts, and I didn't know who the hell they were. I was like, what number? It was 5. Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, I know that guy. Oh, 11. Oh, okay, yeah. That is what he should look like. But what they were able to do, I think, in disguising coverages and stuff like that, that's what they were an NFL offense all year, playing against college defenses, right? Even in the SEC with great athletes, they're college defenses, which are very vanilla, very bland, because if you can't get everybody to know what the hell they're doing, you can't disguise coverages because all you need is one tell, right? That Clemson defense was doing a great job disguising what they were. So Joe Burrow, when they were sending people in motion and coming back, they were trying to figure out, okay, is it man, is it zone? But they were passing it off. And I think Isaiah was just man on Thaddeus, and then they were zone everywhere else. So it was a big-time chess match for Joe Burrow, which leads into even more of the thought of how much success he's going to have in the NFL because he ran an NFL system. And here against Clemson, he got a chance to play against what is going to be like an NFL defense where they're disguising. It took them a little bit to figure it out, but I didn't know if they were going to be able to. I didn't know if they were going to be able to, honestly. Because all people kept talking about was how great of a D coordinator that guy was, right? Like, this guy's a great D coordinator. He's a great D coordinator. Well, if that's the case, then he's going to be able to continue to disguise these coverages and disguise these blitzes, and it could confuse Joe Burrow, who hasn't had to face this. I said this earlier in the year, and I was sort of joking, but not really. The way college defenses are, I think if you can just throw a football and you get in the right system, you could potentially win the Heisman. I did the virtual reality thing at Stanford, and it was just, the defenses are just so easy. Just if you know football just a little bit, it's very easy just to be like, oh, okay, this is cover 2, bang, this is what works against cover 2. Oh, this is a soft 3, all right, bang, this is what you do. If you have a football IQ at all, because there isn't enough time to study, I guess, in college now because they limited the amount of hours you're allowed to film study. Not everybody is a high football IQ that is playing football in college, right? Kids don't have their IQ level up for football enough. They haven't played enough football. So you have to keep it very dry. You're just hoping that your athletes can make play. In the NFL, they disguise defenses. You have no idea. That's why when Sam Darnold said, I'm seeing ghosts, that's because Bill Belichick made it look like it was man, then he was dropping into cover 3 with a blitz, and it's like, oh my God, the guy I thought, no, that wasn't anything that I thought it was, and then bang, you're dead. And before you could even go, because you have to make these decisions all post-haste, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's one of those things where, did I use that right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's one of those things, thank you, that felt pretty good. But it's one of those things where that's why whenever you see, like, oh, that guy can get through his progressions, that because he knows the defense and he knows where he should go with his progressions. Whenever you see a guy look one place and then get scared, that's because he has no idea what the defense is and he has no idea where he's supposed to go. That was the knock on Baker this year, is he would get one read and then he would get outside the pocket to the right and then he would just try to make a play. So I think as Baker continues to learn NFL defenses and disguises and be able to figure things out and tells, he's going to get better. But that's the difference between college defenses and NFL defenses. We talked about that on the MegaCast a little bit. So I didn't know if LSU was going to be able to figure it out. I honestly didn't know, because it's a puzzle. You're trying to figure out this puzzle. And it felt like the puzzle piece that they figured out was that one guy. they were going to go after that one guy.
Number one.
Number one. That is. It's almost like they went to the sideline and they're like, all right, we don't know what the hell's going on with everybody else. They seem to have a good disguise on this. They have good coverage on this. But we think we could take a shot on this guy with our guy. Chase with our number one guy, and it felt like that is when it really started to turn. And also Etienne, he's Darren, or not Etienne, Edwards Hilaire.
Yeah.
He's Darren Sproles. He is Darren Sproles. He might be even thicker than Darren.
He's physical.
He's thicker than Darren Sproles. The thing that I enjoyed most about him, running, getting hit, not going down, like even going out of bounds, still standing. 3 dudes at his feet, like that is just an angry runner, which I respect. I like that a lot. But his ability to kind of be an option out of the back too, just a little dump, I think that's why Joe's going to do good, because of his ability to break down what the defense was giving him last night, which was probably the toughest defense in. I mean, that might have been one of the best disguised defenses in maybe college football, maybe in the history of college football. What they were doing. Because with that number 11 guy, he's a weapon. So you have no idea where he's going to be at. He was lined up at inside linebacker at one point. Then he was outside linebacker, DN. Then he was a safety at one point. So whenever you have one particular player who is your game record playing 4 different positions, it's hard to get a tell on what the hell they could possibly be. You could be like, okay, if Isaiah Simmons is at safety, they're going to do this. But instead, they had him at safety, and then he came down to the line. It looked like an NFL defense last night. And that's why I think I enjoyed watching Joe and Joe figure it out and get it done, because that is what the in-game adjustments are all about. And if you're John Gruden, are you going to get him, Connor?
Oh, yeah. Trade everything for Burrow.
Hey, Cincinnati, you guys want Derek Carr? You want like just a brown-haired Andy Dalton?
Derek Carr in 2 first?
They'd probably do it.
I hate Derek. I hate Derek Carr's brother. What's his name?
David.
I don't like David Carr at all. He blocked me on Twitter too, so he knows I don't like him. I like Derek Carr a lot, but boy, I don't think that's the right pairing, right? Like obviously, Gruden and Derek Carr aren't the right pairing. Let's get to Dylan in Knox, Indiana. Dylan, what's up, bub?
What's going on, boys?
Well, I'm a little tired, actually. What's going on? Let's talk about it. If you want to ask, I'm a little tired. I mean, I had a breakfast sandwich there. I took a cold shower this morning in an attempt to wake up. Because, I mean, I may or may not have taken some sleepy little pill that Drake sings about. Sure. You know what I mean? On that plane.
Out like a light.
I was out like a light. And then, but what I didn't realize is I took that so late because I probably took that like 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, maybe 3 a.m. Eastern.
I don't think you've stated yet. You were up for 24 hours.
24 straight.
You had a 5 a.m. Eastern time call for get up, and we landed at 5 a.m.
Yeah, but I slept for an hour on that plane. So 24 hours.
Quick nap.
Yeah, and then this morning, all that stuff was still riding, and
it still is, definitely.
Yeah, I'm in an interesting spot right now, man. Thanks for the call, Dylan. Have a good one, man. What do you want to talk about, dude?
Hello? So, I want to start with a disclaimer that I'm still an upset Buckeye fan, and I'm a Bears fan, so I'm also upset that we're not going to get Joe Burrow. But at the same time, is he a system quarterback? Because he couldn't make it in the LSU system. He left, went to LSU last year. Todd McShay told you last night that he was projected 5th-round pick after last season. And then he turns around, wins the Heisman. He's going to go number 1. Is he going to make it in the NFL? Is he a system quarterback?
Well, Dylan, the funny thing about that, though, is this is the first system that he got to run that was an NFL system, right? And I think every quarterback is a system quarterback. And I think I said that to Orlovsky one day. I was like, I forget what I was like, what is that term, game manager? Why is that a shot always? Like, oh, this guy's a game manager. Well, he touches the ball every single play. Of course he's the guy that's managing the damn. Like, this guy, every quarterback is a game manager. It's like, well, if they don't make the risky, tough throws, then they're not the quarterback. But like Alex Smith was always like the class, oh, this guy's a game manager. He'll win some games for you. Well, what is a quarterback supposed to do? I feel like every quarterback is a system quarterback, though. Like, if you end up in the right system for you, you're going to have success. And
not Fitzmagic. He's won in every system he's been in.
Well, Dylan, that's why we got to talk Hall of Fame for him. Yeah, right. You're talking about a unicorn there, Dylan. But let's look at Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was in a Joe Flacco system last year. They took out handsome Joe Flacco, put in Lamar. They obviously tried to hinder some things, but that system, that offense was built for Joe Flacco, a quarterback, not for Lamar Jackson. They flipped that thing for Lamar Jackson. Now that system is built around his best assets. He has one of the best years in the history of NFL quarterbacks. Now, granted, Tennessee Titans and big swinging Vrabel walk in there and knock them off. But I think the system quarterback title and game manager thing, it's like every single quarterback is one of those things. Is Tom Brady a system quarterback because Josh McDaniels was calling plays and Bill Belichick was running the defense? I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out if he goes to –
I'll say we'll find out this year.
What if he goes to the Bears, pal?
Bear down.
He's not going.
No way.
Come on.
It's also not plug and play. Like, you can't say that, like, anyone in college would have thrown 60 touchdowns at LSU this year. That's just not true.
Well, and also I think the fact that he went from 16 touchdowns to 60 touchdowns, I would argue that he wasn't in the right system the first time, or maybe he wasn't good enough. Right? He said he didn't work at OSU. I don't think OSU would have gave him any chance to play with the quarterbacks that they had there.
No.
I mean, he was in the locker room with who? JT was there.
Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah, I mean, that was a loaded quarterback room. I don't think he would have ever played. He wanted to play. He goes down there, goes hard. But I think every quarterback that has success is a system quarterback because the system he's running is successful.
Correct.
That's just I think that is an old school term for people that are too lazy to actually say a real opinion.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Oh, he's a game manager. What's he supposed to do?
People used to say that about Brady after like his first 2 Super Bowls. Oh, he's system quarterback.
Yeah, well, everybody's a system quarterback. I was a system punter. You should see what I did. Oh, we're punting right, we're punting left. Got it. All right, that's our system. All right, I'm going to do the hell out of that then. Like, everybody's a system, whatever. It makes no sense at all.
No sense.
Yeah, well, he doesn't break the play and make plays by himself. Well, Joe Burrow, I think, proved that he did do that. He broke the system last night.
First play of the game.
Hey, he shocked the system. Undisputed era. Let's go to Brandon in Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland. What up, Brandon?
Hey, Pat, how's it going today?
You know, it's a lot better. I feel like Todd fixed the phones here. I don't know what Uncle Todd did back there. He's currently answering one, but I think he fixed the phone, so everything's kind of good. Nice to chat with people because, to be honest, I did zero prep. I showed up like 15 minutes before the show started because I just woke up, and it's nice to chat with the people. Brandon, what do you want to talk about?
So, yeah, I wanted to talk about, I grew up in Cleveland. I'm a Steelers fan, but I heard all these Cleveland fans talking about, the Browns stink and where we could lose to Alabama if we ever played them. And I ended up going to bat for Cleveland. And I'm like, there's no way that a college team beats an NFL team. I don't care how bad they are. So it got me thinking about LSU Cincinnati. If they were to play, what would the over-under be? How bad would Cincinnati beat LSU?
Brandon, I want to let you know that I love that you set that up with, hey, I want to be known that I'm a guy that would never, ever say something along these lines that I'm about to say, but I would be intrigued to hear it. Let me tell you, watching that game, thank you for the call, Brandon. What a life being a Steelers fan in Cleveland, by the way. That has to be great. Honestly, that has to be a wild scene over there. I couldn't imagine being a Browns fan in Pittsburgh. Your life would be terrible.
Terrible.
But Cleveland, I think they just have come to respect it. That last night's game, LSU Clemson, it felt like the old school FSU Miami game.
Yes.
Where 20 of the 22 starters would be in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And when you walked around pregame and you saw them, you're like, man, these are some dudes here. And then you watch that Clemson defense. It had some sophistication to it, too. You're like, okay, so not only are these guys great athletes, it feels like they can figure out the football as well. And then you look on the LSU offense. That offensive line won the Joe Moore Award or whatever for being the best offensive line. They look like they're very athletic. Let's assume Edwards-Helaire is going to be in the NFL. Joe Burrow is going to be in the NFL. Chase is going to be in the NFL. Jefferson's going to be in the NFL. Thaddeus Moss is going to be in the NFL. That's an NFL offense right there, running an NFL offensive scheme. So I think the conversation about a college team being able to hang with an NFL team has always been a dumb one. I mean, has always been a very dumb one. But that LSU team last night, I think like probably 20 of their 22 starters are probably going to be playing in the NFL, starting in the NFL within the next 2 years with the athletes that they got in there. And not just – they got first-rounders all over the place. Now, what might really get them, and this is going to sound like somebody who – is only talking about my world. I think the punt returns against these college teams. I think it would be a touchdown every single time. If LSU ever got stopped, it would be a touchdown every single time they punted the ball. It would be house call every single time. So they would have to battle against that. Cade York, their freshman kicker, who has had a hell of a year, who I think the big moment got to him a little bit. He didn't swing all the way through that ball. He missed the kick, but he's been very good. I think the special teams is where the difference will be made, honestly. I think that is where the difference of the game will be made. And obviously, if the offensive linemen who are 18 to 22-year-old can handle grown men playing D-line, nose tackles, and things like that, which last night there was a couple of times Joe Burrow got swallowed up. But I think they would be able to keep it within 3 scores.
Yeah,
I think LSU would be able to keep it within 3 scores.
That's probably what the spread would
24, 27, somewhere around there.
No, that's a lot more than 3 scores. But that's 4 scores. That's what I think it'd be like 21. I think like 20, 21. But maybe 24, 27. Just strictly because of the line. The line play is everything. Whenever you got 29, 30-year-olds going against 18 to 22-year-olds, no matter how good they are against other 18 to 22-year-olds, those men are going to give those man-child type humans a problem. I mean, a real problem. But Joe Brady, good brain, can play a quick game too. You can get things out of there. But I think it would be probably 3 scores, maybe 4 scores. I think they'd be able to handle, because that is a very similar to an NFL team over there.
I mean, yeah, LSU's going to have 3 players go in the top 10, top 15 probably.
Yeah, and let's assume that a lot of their defense in the next couple of years is going to get drafted too. I mean, that LSU team, dudes, they had dudes.
Well, yeah, because Delpit's, I believe, a top 15 pick right now, the safety. That Queen dude had hell of a night.
Number 8.
Yeah.
He was very good. Fast. Anytime, I always like whenever you see a linebacker or D lineman or whatever with single digit. That means, this guy used to be a skill position. This guy used to play a skill position, then he put on some weight, and now he's still carrying over that mentality, athletic ability, and to be able to do that.
Can I ask you a question?
Nope.
Huh.
Oh.
Come on.
If Trevor Lawrence...
What the hell? What type of operation is this?
No means no, Tone.
I mean, unbelievable, Tone. You want to swear, too? Why don't you just break
No.
Do it.
I would never do that.
Go on.
If Trevor Lawrence was coming out this year, would it be Joe Burrow or Trevor Lawrence, number 1 pick?
Oh, my God.
Good hypothetical.
You would have to take Trevor Lawrence just because he's 6'6", 220, and runs a 4.4.
He could sling that ball, too.
How tall is Joe Burrow in person?
Joe Burrow's like 6'3", it feels like. He was bigger. He was bigger in person than I thought. And just like we saw at the SEC Championship when they showed him when we were in the stadium 2.5 hours before the game and he had a shirt on, he has this awesome vibe about him. Just like very, very confident. Like very, very comfortable in his own skin. Very confident. He had this smirk. I think he wanted to look over and talk to us while he was doing warm-ups. But I like it had that feeling where I was going to potentially have a conversation with him while he was. There's no reason we should have been where we were. There was no reason why the field pass we were allowed to just go wherever the hell we want. I mean, me and Orlovsky were standing 2 yards away from Trevor Lawrence warming up, and then Adam Amin was standing behind him, and we were breaking it down as if it was a play. All right, here's a warm-up toss. He's taking his turn. Oh, look at this. He just threw the ball a little high there, but he's going to get back on it. This guy's trying to loosen up his arm at this point, and we're breaking down his entire fundamental. What a nightmare situation. Joe's taller than you think he is, but I think they would still take Trevor Lawrence just because he is like the prototype.
Yeah.
I mean, he is the prototype.
Generational talent.
Aside from, now Joe Burrow might be a generational talent too. We don't know how he's going to do. But I think a GM, you got to remember these GMs all want to keep their jobs too, which we will talk about Bill O'Brien. For those that don't know, Bill O'Brien, the head coach of the Houston Texans, who were up 24-0 in a playoff game and ended up losing by 20, who also operates as the general manager of the team, says that the team has no intentions of hiring a general manager to become his boss, and he wants that to be a final statement. He wants to let everybody know that he will still be running the ship over there, personnel, coaching decisions, all that. And ain't nobody going to tell me nothing. He was on that plane ride home trying to figure out, think long and hard about whether or not he should fire himself. I'm happy to hear he got off that plane and said, nope, and we're not changing nothing either. Good for Bill O'Brien. Might have that job for the next 75 years. But if you're a GM trying to hire, you're always trying to save your own ass. Yeah, that's what all GMs are trying to do. Now, granted, there's some GMs like Belichick and people that have success and they're at the top. They can do whatever. But whenever you draft somebody, you are immediately going to be linked to that person forever. Forever. Look at what's happening in Chicago, right? Oh, Cuzzy with Mitchell Trubisky. They're linked forever. Grigson got it for trading for Trent Richardson. Same thing. I mean, you just get that is what GMs are based off of, is the personnel that they build and how they utilize the draft. Now, granted, free agency can help if they make some splashes in free agency, but the draft thing. And if you pass on Trevor Lawrence whenever he was sitting there, and Trevor Lawrence goes on to be exactly what everybody thinks Trevor Lawrence is going to be, as a GM forever, you're that guy that didn't take him, right? Now, Joe Burrow, great player, going to be very good in the NFL, but he hasn't been being talked about for the last 4 years as being the generational talent of his whatever, you know what I mean? I mean, Trevor Lawrence is still 25-1 last night, even though he got outdueled by Joe Burrow last night, but I don't think there's any GM that if they took Trevor Lawrence at 1 and then Joe Burrow at 2, nobody would be like, oh, that wasn't how it's supposed to go.
No, and it's kind of similar to Luck and RG3. Like, Luck was this generational talent, and RG3 burst on the scene, won the Heisman. Luck still went number 1 because that was the right pick.
RG3, though, won the rookie offensive player of the year.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Andrew Luck broke Peyton Manning's records that year and went to the playoffs and had a brand new offensive system for everybody, but he doesn't have a statue. Doesn't have a statue.
I think people underestimate Joe Burrow's athleticism too. They just like they assume, yeah, exactly. But you assume that like Trevor Lawrence, because like we've seen him running and everything. It's like, oh, this guy's much more athletic too. He's got a bigger arm, all that kind of stuff.
You know, me, by the way, I'm not a GM and never would be. Let's say we're Flip Cup. We're drafted for Flip Cup. Joe Burrow.
Oh yeah,
all day,
without a doubt. Joe Burrow, I feel like, is the type of guy where if you're playing chess, right before you get the word mate out of checkmate out of your mouth, he's flipping the table. He's flipping the board over. That's what I feel like from Joe Burrow, and I like Joe Burrow a lot. But you got to think about these GMs in these positions. Like the way they get scrutinized for the decisions that they make if they don't work out is just, you know, got to. Trevor Lawrence said all the right things at that press conference, too, after the game. Talked about how he's going to miss the seniors and how he's sad that he didn't win for them. Like, that's a very mature take on things, especially for a guy that, you know, has potentially another 2 years of college football. What was that, Diggs?
Come on.
No, it's just funny to think about that. He has potentially 2 more years of football.
What if he just loved college football so much he was like, you know what? I'm opting out of the NFL draft. Instead of opting into the NFL draft, he's like, yeah, coming back next year. Love Clemson. Love my hair. Love Popeye. Let's go to James in Long Island, New York. James, what's up, dude?
What's going on, Pat? Man, I just want to say you are an absolute electric factory, man. Any broadcast you do, I would love to watch. Last night, watching Dan Orlovsky fawn over Trevor Lawrence right there, and you comment on it, was hilarious.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, the thing about it, though, was Dan was talking as if the people weren't listening to us hear this. And Dan is an incredible quarterback analyzer. I mean, he's very good at what he does, Dan. But then I also remember
that. Yeah, I mean, you guys are right there.
Hey, people are watching this now. Like, Dan, let's humanize this guy just a little bit. He was talking about him like he was a Greek god. But, by the way, that's what he looks like whenever you're next to him. He is taller than you think he is. Mm-hmm. He is thicker than you think he is. And he's more athletic than you think he is. He is everything that they chalk it up to be. But also, I mean, this is television. Let's enjoy the hell out of this. Hey, James, they let us right in there. I didn't know what I was doing, by the way, until the briefing before the game, an hour and 10 minutes before the game. An hour and 10 minutes is when I learned what this field pass was. And I stopped the conversation. I was like, what? We're allowed to do what? Like, yeah, for the warm-ups, you just kind of roam the field or whatever. And I'm like, just wherever? They're like, yeah, just don't get hit by the balls. And then last year, I guess a kid was wearing a headphone and he crashed into a camera, so you can't have that happen. I'm like, I'm just walking around. They're like, yeah. I'm like, what about during the game? They're like, God, go where the hell you want. I'm like,
yep, up and down the sideline.
This is what I signed up for. They're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome. They're like, you didn't know that? I'm like, no, I had no idea. James, it was a good time. Have you watched a MegaCast before?
Yes, I have. And it wasn't like that because you weren't on it.
Jimmy.
Well, thank you guys. And the question that I have is your XFL broadcasting, and I know that's going to be on the field, and you're going to be able to go and ask players questions during games and stuff like that. Is that going to be a little bit like that, or are you going to get more access? Like, do you have a little bit more insight as to what that's going to be like?
Thank you for the call, James. Right now, I'd like to bring to you the story of the week, which is sponsored by Grainger. Let's take a look at the story that made the glory. This week, it is Joe Burrow, not only winning a national... What's going on?
Story that made the glory, man. It's good stuff.
It's a
you
story,
can't write this.
Story that made the glory. Joe Burrow caps off this fairy tale like season from going in the transfer portal from Ohio State. Thank you. To LSU, winning the Heisman, helping raise over $500,000 for his hometown. Then he goes on and wins a national championship, probably with a broken rib, just putting over the entire state of Louisiana, having a cigar afterwards, leading the crowd in neck, which is banned from games, but the band said, don't you worry about that. We're winning a national championship. He had scored a touchdown 2 feet from me, wiped me down. He said, Joe Burrow is the story of the week, which was sponsored by Grainger, delivering the products that keep your facility running is what Grainger does best. They've been doing it for 90 years. Visit Grainger.com for whatever you need, whenever you need it. Grainger, for the ones who got it done. James is a good guy there in Long Island.
Great guy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that XFL thing's happening. I don't know.
TBD.
We got to get to a break. That Boca Bowl was terrible. And now it's supposed to be a trial run for that, and I hated every moment of it, James. We'll be back on the other side. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
Hey guys, if you're experiencing erectile dysfunction, you can now get treated anywhere. Like here, here, even here. Okay, maybe not there. That's why we built Roman. So it's easy to get ED meds prescribed online delivered to your door. Just visit GetRoman.com, chat with a U.S. licensed physician, and if treatment is right for you, you'll get genuine medication delivered in discreet packaging. Get started with your free online visit at GetRoman.com/TV.
said it. Foxy,
Yes, sir.
how about that third floor of the Ritz? How many decisions are being made on that third floor of the Ritz
No,
yesterday?
it was the absolute. It was unbelievable.
There was power in that third floor of the Ritz.
I didn't deserve to be there. I didn't deserve to be in a lot of places, but that third floor, no chance.
I concur with that. Because I should have been there. And then Foxy just got to walking behind me.
And I'm just like wearing a T-shirt. Everyone's in suits, looking so nice, and I'm like, come on. I didn't look sloppy, but still.
There was so. The president might have been there. It felt like the third floor of the Ritz is where a lot of decisions were being made.
We were in and out in like 5 minutes. That's all we needed.
No, we need quick in and out. Hello. I was asked if I could make an appearance. I was like, yeah, you got it. I'm coming over right now. And they're like, the golf cart wasn't there yet, though. So it was like a four block walk. They're like, are you going to be here? And I'm like, the golf cart hasn't showed up. They're like, you need to be here within like the next 6 minutes. There's only a couple open time space. I'm like, well, this sounds like a them problem. They're like, Pat, these are not the people you say them problems. I'm like, all right. We're being Foxy to start walking now. We started walking 6 blocks. I just started sweating. Ugh. It's thick down there in Louisiana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the morning, it was like 55, 60. It was perfect. It was like beautiful. And then afternoon there, it got a hot one. All the police are very cool. We were so many cops down there.
Mm-hmm.
Secret Service. Foxy got patted down by the Secret Service. Coming out of a building. Foxy coming out of a building got stopped, patted down, bag searched by Secret Service.
She went through my entire bag. I have laptop, camera, the whole thing. And the only thing she took out of it was a tennis ball, which was very interesting to me.
It's the dogs, Todd.
Come on.
It's because the dogs, Todd. She must have thought you had a bunch of drugs in there. Defer the dogs off with the tennis ball.
Well, I actually said that. I'm like, oh, you only took the tennis ball. That's fine with me. And then they looked at me and they're like, well, what else do you got in there?
Hey, Ty, Ty in Terabella, California. There's music playing, but we can still hear you. Pretty quick. What do you want to say?
I can hardly hear you, Pat. I'm so sorry.
Can you stop that music? Ty, you got like 10 seconds. What do you got?
I think Joe Burrow's going to be a bust. What do you think?
I just literally for an hour said.
Think about it.
I have. I literally just said for an hour I think he's going to be good. That's why sports are the best. Yeah. That's why sports are the best. I don't think he is, man. I think the way he throws darts, dude. He does.
He's a winner.
The confidence.
And he is a winner. We'll talk more about that. Also, we got Kenny Clark, D-tackle for the Packers on the other side. You're listening to the Ben McAfee Show.
On average, people have to wait 29.3 days to see a doctor. Anyone living with erectile dysfunction, hair loss, or cold sores knows that kind of wait just won't work. That's why there's Roman, the digital health clinic for men. Complete a free online visit, and you'll hear back from a U.S. licensed physician within 24 hours. If medication is right for you, Roman delivers it with free 2-day shipping, always in discreet packaging. Get started today with a free online visit at GetRoman.com/TV. Roman, let's take care of it.
vacation, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
You're damn right it is. Chase Rice, you handsome son bitch. Appreciate you singing that for free for us. It is January 14th, 2020. I'm running on an hour and a half of sleep after a trip home from New Orleans last night after a magnetic national championship with our ESPN2 Megacast Field Pass, where I was so lucky to be calling the game from the sideline with Steve Levy, Adam Amin, and Dan Orlovsky. That game felt long.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was. Oh, yeah, I thought so.
It was quite long.
I had no service on my phone, right? So in those things, normally whenever you have that many people doing things, you have no service. So I had no service. I couldn't. I wanted to like update humans on how it was going. I was trying to figure out what the words were I was supposed to. I think the cast got at least 10 words out. I think we got 10 big words out. So let's assume that Cash App giveaway will be happening at some point in the next week. If you utilized hashtag ESPN2 Megacast last night and clip something. Now, granted, not everybody knew how to do that. So if you just used the hashtag ESPN2 Megacast last night, congratulations. Your name has been entered into a $10,000 Cash App giveaway. That Cash App is not paying for it, by the way. I don't like, I feel like Cash App should pay for that. Yeah. I feel like we've done enough for them.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Or we'll get somebody else to pay for it. We'll just have to utilize it through Cash App. But congratulations for that. Or we'll pay for it ourselves, whatever it was. But that was I couldn't do anything with my phone, so I just kept my phone away. Right? It felt like I took a nice trip back to the 90s. Right? I didn't have that. But at one point I was like, man, what time is it? And over the head thing, they were like, it is 11:35 Eastern Standard Time. And it was like the third quarter. I was like, oh my, I'm not getting home until maybe after tomorrow's show. It was so long, but a lot of turns of the tide, the momentum swings. There were some flags there towards the end. There was a lot of this, a lot of that. And also, it's a national championship, so obviously big money for sponsorships and stuff like that. But what a game last night. Joe Burrow cemented his legacy as probably top 3 quarterback performances in the history of college football. Probably top 1 quarterback performance in the history of college football. Top 3 college football player performance in the history of college football. And I'm only saying that to give myself wiggle room so I can have an out for when people battle me. He had the most touchdowns in FBS history with 60. He had the highest completion percentage in the history of college football. I mean, he won the Heisman, the national championship. He took a bet on himself, and right after winning, with potentially a broken rib, he smoked a cigar while dapping up other people with his beautiful hair. Has anybody ever seen the movie Cry Baby?
Oh, yeah.
The hair that Joe Burrow has is kind of a crybaby hair. Kind of has a Scott Hall thing too up in the front there. I think Joe Burrow is going to be an absolute stud in the NFL because he's running an NFL system here at LSU with Joe Brady. And last night he faced what was like an NFL defense with disguises and things like that. Him not just being able to immediately know exactly what the defense is in and just pick it apart like they were able to do for a long. Yes, the SEC is the best conference in all of football, but even them, they're not running these super sophisticated defenses that have disguises like the NFL has. They just have a bunch of freak athletes. Last night, Venables with the Clemson defense was able to set that defense up to be in a manner that had disguises, and it looked like an NFL defense. And there early, you saw Joe Brady and Joe Burrow almost mentally sparring with the Clemson defense to try to figure it out. That Isaiah Simmons, number 11 for Clemson, is an absolute animal. But then you saw them start to figure it out. Then you saw Joe Burrow start to dissect the defense. Then you saw Joe Burrow put the team on his back, run a lot more than I expected him to do, run faster than I expected him to run, make great throws, drop balls in bucket, and will that team to a national championship in their own state. Last night on Bourbon Street was already electric by the time we were leaving. I couldn't fathom what it was for the rest of the night. Good for Joe Burrow, good for LSU, and I cannot wait for the Trevor Lawrence revenge body that's about to come out the other side of this thing. In that press conference, he said everything right. It was a cool experience. I was very lucky to be a part of it, and whenever the confetti started flying, they spared no expense on that confetti, by the way. That might have been the most confetti I've ever seen in my entire life. That was an awesome moment whenever there was Baton Rouge. What's that song? Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge. That last night, whenever that was playing, it was an awesome moment. I mean, that was very cool. We all agree that we think the right team won. That was a team of destiny, one of the most talented teams. There's NFL talent all over the place, and I was lucky to be a part of it on ESPN too. Joining me on the casting couch at Boston Connor, at Nick Marauders on the ones and twos playing hack music, Tone Diggs, Ty Schmidt, Jason McAfee somehow did not go on vacation this week. Viva Lazito, Evan Foxy, and Uncle Todd's on the phones, which we are packed. We will get to. Last night was very cool. What did you guys?
I learned that Destiny is greater than Dynasty.
Oh.
Tony.
What did you just say?
Destiny is greater than Dynasty.
Wow. Did we learn that with the baseball too? And did we learn that when past? It really does feel as if that is what, but Destiny can lead to a dynasty.
It could.
Too.
And I also.
Hey, Diggs, that's a big time statement right there. That's a big time cliche t-shirt. Destiny is better than Dynasty.
Print the shirts.
I think could potentially be a Diggs special here. Destiny is better than Dynasty. Now, granted, Diggs will ruin what a Destiny is. Diggs will walk into a casino and be like, found a quarter today. Whose heads up. Destiny's better than Dynasty. I'm going to take all the money out of here. But I think you're right. That did feel like that was a team of Destiny last night. They're going to have to find another quarterback, but I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah, and I don't know if they have one in the wings or not. But Joe Burrow, I don't know why. I don't know if it's because he didn't make it. Not that he didn't make it Ohio State, but he had to transfer and had the 16 touchdowns last year. I don't know if there was still some doubt in my mind I couldn't imagine what reason, but all doubt is gone. I think Joe Burrow is incredible.
Yeah, he's very good.
I think he's going to be really good in the NFL.
I think the doubt is, well, why didn't you play at Ohio State?
Yeah.
Then it's like, well, they had a hell of a quarterback room, and if you look at that place, I mean, they've had a lot of success with whatever they're doing, so you're not going to tell them anything differently. Joe betting on himself, and last year he had 16 touchdowns, right? He was an average quarterback last year, but the LSU offense was also not predicated around Joe Burrow being a quarterback. Joe Brady coming in there, instituting and expecting more, okay? That's something that Mark Whipple, the offensive coordinator for the University of Pittsburgh, who was in the NFL. He was with Ben Roethlisberger at the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was at other places, but he started in college, went to the NFL, and he said, if I ever go back to college, what I've decided is I'm going to expect more of my quarterback. So a lot of college coaches with their quarterback, especially in this RPO game, they don't put a lot on them, right? They don't have a lot of, okay, you have to read this, you have to dissect this, you have to do this, you have to check with this. Mark Whipple told us at the University of Pittsburgh when we met with him that he said, whenever I came back to college, I decided that I was going to try to test these quarterbacks. I was going to try to put more on their plate than most college quarterbacks have. I was going to have them have checks at the line. I was going to have them try to read defenses. I was going to have them go through their progressions on what they saw and make a play. He said, I was going to expect more of these college quarterbacks as opposed to what normally happens. Joe Brady did that to Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow got put in a situation where there was more put on his plate and he had to dissect it, and he thrived in it. And from what I've been told, by all accounts, he is a film junkie, like loves studying film, loves working, obviously. That's how you go from 16 to 60 touchdowns. But I think that type of thing that he was put in mentally, not physically. Granted, he throws a great ball. He can drop a ball in a bucket if he has to. He can run faster than we thought. But mentally, his ability to handle the offense that was put on his shoulders just a year ago and dissect it, break it down, and become the weapon in that offense is ultimately why he's going to have success in the NFL. You see a lot of guys in the NFL that still can't do it. Mm-hmm. You see there's guys in the NFL that still can't do it, younger quarterbacks that still can't dissect the defense and figure out where the hell they're supposed to go, because it's not easy. It is very hard to do, especially whenever the other teams, coaches, and coordinators are getting paid millions and millions of dollars just strictly to confuse you. That is what defense is trying to do, strictly confuse the quarterback. Sometimes young quarterbacks can't do that. I think Joe Burrow has the proper amount of grit and intelligence that he has the ability to work at it and break down the defense. I think that's why he'll be successful in the NFL.
I think one of the biggest takeaways from last night, too, is just his consistency and his resilience, because it kind of had a feel. Obviously, the deficit wasn't the same, but I felt with him the way I did with Mahomes and the Chiefs against the Texans. Even though they were down and like their offense wasn't on schedule, they had bad field position, you never really thought that they weren't going to – you knew that they were just one drive, one play away from like the avalanche kind of starting, and that begins and ends with him.
I agree.
And I think
I
a
like
lot
him
of
a-
his grit and his work ethic and loving to study film obviously comes from being the son of a college coach. That's not going to hurt.
Yeah, anytime you have a generational thing like that, that's good. And being from Ohio.
Yeah.
Foxy, what do you say? What do you say, Foxy?
If you got to wake up in the morning, shovel the driveway, scrape your car, you're just going to be automatically more gritty than those people from California or Florida or you name it. It's just how it goes.
Why don't you take a shot at the Lone Star State too, dude? Come on.
I mean, Texas has some gritty people.
There you go.
They do.
Everything's bigger.
And I would assume there's gritty people everywhere, but that is a real thing. If you hadn't had to wake up in the morning, okay, with your little backpack having to go to a stupid school, and you open the door having to walk to the bus stop, and you just lose feeling in your entire face because of how cold it is, like I think you inherit something from that you just can't buy anywhere else. Now, granted, I think potentially that Louisiana humidity is enough.
That's true.
If you can survive a sauna while walking through to class, I think that is something. But it is real. I think him being from Ohio and being from the part of Ohio that he's from, I think has created a real monster. And I think Joe Burrow is going to be very, very good. Let's get to the phones to RJ in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Hey, Pat, how you doing?
I mean, I was better before you just blew out my eardrums, RJ. What's going on, pal?
Not a whole lot, man. Got a crazy idea. Foxy, I hope you love it.
All right.
The Lions, we got the third pick in the draft, and we got Stafford who's still got some time left on him. So send him down to Cincinnati. He's used to a crappy organization. He should be used to that by now. And we get Joe Burrow and hopefully take down Aaron Rodgers for once and all.
All right, RJ. What if Matt Stafford said, "Yeah, you could trade me. You could trade me anywhere but Cincinnati." What if Stafford said that? That would be electrifying. If Stafford was like, "All right, I get it. You want to move on? Maybe I should move on too. It's been a long time here, not a lot of success. I only got a couple 4,000-yard seasons left of me that I've given to Detroit for the last 11 years or 5,000-yard seasons. You can trade me anywhere but Cincinnati."
What are the Lions going to give up to get to that first round pick?
Stafford.
Do they have picks?
Stafford at number 3.
Yeah, I mean,
You think, come on, man. It cost 3 first-round picks for the RG3 trade to move up one spot.
Yeah, but that was Dan Snyder. That was everybody understanding what Dan Snyder was and understanding that, hey, we got to fish at the table.
Plus, they owe Stafford money that if you trade him or cut him, it's dead cap.
If they move Stafford without him wanting to be moved, I'm done. I'm done with the team.
Well, a lot of people would argue that you should have been done with the team 10 years
No.
ago.
It's still my team, all right? I still love Detroit, but Matthew Stafford is given enough. You let him ride this out as long as he wants. If he wants out, you let him go.
What are they going to do with his broken freaking back?
Yeah.
What are they going to do? What is he going to do with his broken back? Remember they were thinking he was out one week for a broken back. They're like, he might be back next week. I'm like, is that how backs work? Is that how backs? Is he get surgery? Is that rest up? Do you wear one of those things? Jay, didn't you have to wear one of those things one time? The body thing, the really hard.
I was supposed to. I never did.
Oh, Jay.
They have this thing. They have this thing. Happy birthday, Jay. They have this thing.
Like a cast?
Yes,
it
but
is.
you can't
Plastic.
move, though. And I guess that's supposed to help your bones just kind of jump back
It's for
together.
scoliosis.
Yeah, I think it's for
It's
that,
kinda like
but
a
also for
corset, but it's
broken
plastic.
backs, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
The I don't know how you fix a broken back.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's time.
You got to break it back.
I do think Joe Burrow's gritty enough to make it in Detroit, but that's like a lot of people want Tua there. Tua's from Hawaii. He went to Alabama.
Play indoors.
I just don't think he's fitting in Detroit.
What if Tua gets drafted and says, "What's going on with that XFL?" Gets drafted to Detroit? I don't know, man. Detroit doesn't deserve that. I like Matt Patricia. He gave us a lot of access, but boy, it just feels as if that particular organization can't win, won't win, shouldn't win. And that's a real shame. That's a real shame for you, Foxy. Let's get to a break. And on the other side, we got Kenny Clark, defensive tackle from UCLA and the Green Bay Packers, who are in the NFC Championship game, in spite of everybody talking down about the Green Bay Packers. We'll get to the break. Kenny Clark on the other side. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. This song stinks. I mean, just suck the life out of a room, this song.
10 years ago, I had an undiagnosed heart condition, and erectile dysfunction was actually the first sign that something was wrong.
Luckily, I'm a doctor, an expert in sexual health, and Zach's dad.
Not everyone has a doctor in the house, and some health conditions can be really tough to talk about. We started Roman to change that.
Now you can go online and chat with a physician.
And if treatment is right for you, we'll ship genuine medication right to your door. If you're experiencing ED, hair loss, cold sores, or other issues, let's take care of it.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here, Tuesday, January 14th. Big shout out to Joey Burrow, national champion. Congrats to all of LSU. Coach O, by the way, said he's not going out to party. He's going to have a ham sandwich and something else. And he was back to recruiting, he said, last night after he got off the interview with Scott Van Pelt that I was watching while showering off all of the sweat that I had from a 7-hour telecast on ESPN2. Switching gears, let's talk about the NFL and the NFC Championship. To be specific, the Green Bay Packers have to travel to Santa Clara. Joining us now is a man that was nothing short of disruptive this past weekend. Nose tackle, standing at 6'3", 314 pounds. He was listed. That was before holiday season, I assume. Ladies and gentlemen, from the UCLA nose tackle for the Green Bay Packers, Kenny Clark.
What's going on?
Kenny, how you doing, man? How's life over there in Lambeau? Cold as hell?
Man, it's cold, man, but we in great spirits right now.
Absolutely. Everybody's dreaming to play in this weekend. There's only 4 teams left. Sit down, 28 teams. You get a massive win against that Seattle Seahawks team. Whenever Russell Wilson was surging there towards the end of that, what was the message that the defense was saying? Hey, let's stop this guy who's the most optimistic cliche using human on earth, or what was the message? We just got to get the ball back to Aaron. What was the thought on the defensive side of the ball at the end of that game?
Man, just keep going, just keep running, keep running after him, keep our foot on the pedal, and just stay after him and get the ball back to our offense. Man, he's a great quarterback, and he makes a lot of plays out of nothing sometimes. And all the coaches talked about all week, you're gonna have to stop the first play, but within that play, it's going to be a second play that you're going to have to play. So we knew that we knew that coming in, and we had to just keep staying after him.
As a nose tackle, all you got to do is eat large men, basically. But last week you had 7 disruptions, which is incredible for a nose tackle position. And you're going to be needed this upcoming weekend against the Niners. Obviously, every single week the nose tackle is. What have you seen thus far from the San Francisco 49ers, especially in their ability to run the ball, that makes you go, this week we're going to have to strap it up a little bit tighter?
Well, I just think that they're extremely, their technique is great, man. They do a great job at running off the ball. Their running backs do a great job at pressing the line of scrimmage and getting guys to run sideways, and then they cut off their linemen and get vertical through gaps. So we got to do a great job of staying square, playing well, playing with great technique. Shanahan does a great job at throwing a lot of stuff in front of you, so you got to do a great job with our eyes and make sure we're playing our keys and playing our techniques, and so we can stop this running game.
Anytime they're trying to get a defense east to west, normally penetration kills that. Am I accurate with saying that?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
How do you, as a guy that normally has to take on a double team, get penetration? Is that all handwork? Is that footwork? What is it, Kenny?
Really, it's just get off. Having the confidence to know what you're seeing, and getting off the ball, being able to play with hands, and really the technique part of it. I think I'm pretty quick off the ball. So as I'm getting off, I'm just trying to get my hands on guys, trying to knock back the line of scrimmage, and get my head into a gap, and just peek and shed.
Hey, what are the things you're looking for in film? Like, for instance, whenever I was very lucky to be teammates with Peyton Manning, he would have his backup quarterback scour the other team's defense and find if a guy's left foot is back this many inches, okay, they're going to drop into cover 2 or something like that. There's always like these tiny little keys. And obviously, you can't say it for this weekend, but are those things that you look for whenever you're trying to figure out what the snap count is or when the ball is coming?
Oh yeah, definitely. Just looking at how they're taught, and how they're coached up, and just looking at offensive linemen's techniques and all that kind of stuff, and just going through the film, looking at different guys through the league that they played, and how those guys set those guys, how the powerful guys, how they handle power, all that kind of stuff. You just look through the film, look at the different guys that they played, and just try to see what they struggle with, and how you can apply that to your game.
Every football team I've been a part of, the defensive line room is both at the same time the most ridiculous and most hilarious room. Is that true for the Green Bay Packers as well?
Oh yeah, man. Our front is hilarious, man. I would probably go with Preston. Preston's probably like the funniest guy. Kiki, Kingsley Kiki, he's hilarious. We definitely got some characters on our front. Those guys they keep the energy up. They make the everything just loose around, and we just out there having fun, really.
You were drafted in 2016. The two Smiths were brought in this particular offseason. What have they done to help out not only a D-line and a pass rush, but that entire Green Bay Packer defense that Aaron Rodgers and all Green Bay Packers fans have been elated to see this particular season?
Man, I just think the energy, man, the energy that they brought to this defense is just great, and just really just the whole team. And we had some really good rushers and some really good players on our team, before they had came in, and then you add those two guys, and you add them together with the talent that we already had, then you see the real product, and you see everything just coming in, and you get the full picture of what we can be. So it's pretty cool, being able to play with those guys. They're great players. They help me out a lot. We all help each other out, and I'm just thankful that I got those guys on my team.
You're an All-American, All Pac-12. You're a first-round draft pick. I don't know how you operate or motivate yourself, but Aaron Rodgers has alluded to in the last couple of weeks about how the media and everybody has been talking down about this Green Bay Packers team that was at 13-3 or whatever. Is that something that has been talked about in the locker room? Like, hey, who gives a damn what anybody says? Let's go ahead and shove this directly up their sphincters, what they're going to say about the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, man, it's one of those things where we understand, we're not 13-3, for no reason. The record speaks for itself, and it doesn't happen by accident that you're 13-3. It's hard to win games in this league, and we fully understand that. And just with that, man, we do feel like we slept on, and a lot of people and a lot of teams don't give us the respect that we deserve. But that's up to us to just keep on proving it each and every week, and showing the whole world what we about and how we play. What's our style of football, our brand of football, and how we play.
Kenny, week 11, you guys went to San Francisco and things did not go your way. Do you guys watch that tape, or you just throw it out and say, you know what, that just wasn't our week? Or how do you guys use that game?
It's a lot of stuff to watch from that game, just to see how they attacked us and everything. But it's one of those games that I'm gonna watch it a little bit and just to see the guys that I was going against and all that kind of stuff. But I'm way moved past it. We gonna prepare how we normally prepare. Whether it's watching that game or watching the other guys that they had played. And we're gonna just do it that way. And that game that got away from us really early. They made a couple plays. They made a play first drive and got up on us quick and all that kind of stuff. So we gonna have our hands full with San Francisco. They're a great team, and we're excited to play them again.
You expecting a lot of double team? I feel like at nose tackle, you have to take on the most double teams of any human in history.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
What's the goal there? Now, because you watch these movies, right? Jackie Chan takes down like 6 people. You see like the idea is like, all right, you knock out one guy and then you go and get the other guy. Whenever you're consistently having to take on double teams, and I know there's a lot of discipline and gap discipline, you can't just get crazy. What is the mindset of having to deal with 2 professional athletes attempting to move you without allowing them to budge you?
Yeah, man. Sometimes you feel like a pinball in there, just getting cracked from all kind of different spots. But it's a demanding position, and you got to have great technique to play that position. You got to be stout, you got to be strong, you got to play with great leverage and hands, and and you got to just be consistent. You got to be consistent for your linebackers, for the guys that surround you. So those guys can make plays, and when those opportunities come for you to make the play, you got to make it. So it's definitely a demanding position, but I just try my best every day to help my team out. Just try to be stout in there, help out Blake and BJ and those guys behind me. so they can fill in the gaps that they need to fill in and make the plays where they count.
Nose tackles are a selfless position. I mean, it really is. You just got to sit there. You got 4 hands on you, about 630 pounds of man trying to move you. You just got to sit in there and take it. Hey, Coach Matt LaFleur, whenever he was hired, nobody had a clue who the hell he was. And then you guys early, you win games, but the offense wasn't moving as much as they should. A lot of heat was put on Matt LaFleur as a head coach. Now you're 13-3. You have a playoff win at home against a potential MVP candidate in Russell Wilson. What have you seen from Matt LaFleur this season in growth as a head coach, whether it's the way he speaks to the team, his confidence in front of the team, the way he handles the schedule? What have you seen from Matt LaFleur as the season went on, or has he been the same guy every day?
Man, he's been the same guy every day, man. He's a player's coach. He's a great leader, and we've totally just bought into everything that he preaches and what he expects from us. He holds himself with high standards, holds his team with high standards, and he holds everybody accountable. And the thing I love about him is he lets the players, lead the team and all that kind of stuff, and he trusts in his team, and that's the one thing that makes us want to fight for him, because he's letting us know as leaders what he wants done and all that kind of stuff, and he's letting us trickle down the message down to everybody else, and I think that's pretty cool. And everybody's just really behind what he's preaching and what he's teaching.
When you empower people, normally you find the best in people, and that's what great leaders do. I mean, that is something that I am very happy to hear about Matt LaFleur. Now, let's talk about Mike Pettin. Is that guy a maniac? Is Mike Pettin a maniac?
Yeah, man. He's a silent assassin, man. He's quiet all the time, but he's definitely got that killer instinct in him.
What is his message? Does he speak to you before the game, or who's the person that's speaking to the defense before the game?
Really, I mean, the day before the game, it's usually Coach Pettin, but the day of the game, it's probably Z or Preston or guys in the position group. I'll speak to the defensive line or something like that. But Coach Pettin, he talks to us the day before the game, and then he just lets us go out there and just do our thing. After that, enough of the talking and everything's been said already. He just lets his players go out there and go play.
I know it's Tuesday, so I'm not 100% sure you guys have gotten into the game plan yet. But
we off today.
George Kittle is a different animal, Kenny. This dude, George Kittle is a man child right now. What do you assume that you guys are just going to chip the hell out of it? Whenever there's a dude like that on the other team, is that all hands on deck, or will somebody have a job that'll have to take care of that?
Oh yeah, man, it's all hands on deck with him, man. He's a great player. He's athletic. He can block. He does a great job. I think that people are starting to recognize, how good of a blocker he is, and how much that means to their offense, and how much it means to them being able to run the ball so well is by his ability to run off the ball, be able to block defensive ends and block linebackers, and not just stay in front of them, but actually push them back, pancake them, and do all that kind of stuff. So he's a great receiver, but he's a great blocker too, and you could tell he means a lot to that team. He's a leader on that team. He has a lot of energy, and our job, we can't let him get going, because that's when the team that's when you get the crowd involved, and you get the team feeling good and feeling more confident. So I think he's the lifeline of that team, man. He's the energy guy. He makes all kinds of plays for him, and he's a great player.
Well, Kenny, I think you're one of those for the Green Bay Packers, my brother. I can't thank you enough for your time. Good luck pinballing your ass around Santa Clara, California over there, and we appreciate your time. Good luck, and congrats on getting to the NFC Championship. This is a massive ordeal. Enjoy the hell out of it.
Oh, yeah, yes, sir. Appreciate that.
You got it, ladies and gentlemen. Kenny Clark. Hey, good guy, man.
He's good. He's very good.
Nose tackle is a nightmare position. nightmare position because the center obviously has to worry about the snap, so they're always going to give the center help. And nose tackle is lined up directly over there. And if you're a center who has quick hands, you can normally get up just as quick as guards. So now he's going to deal with two gigantic humans. And the way now, this is just me eavesdropping into conversations. Once you see a nose tackle drop to a knee, basically that means he's quit. Right?
Create a pile.
Yeah. He's quit, and he's just trying to get them down on top of him. But die slow is an actual method for nose tackles. Like, hey, here's a technique you use. You could use your hands. You could train with knives. Aaron Donald does. You could do these things, or you can just die slowly. That's like, if that is a technique that is potentially used in your profession, that is a selfless job. I couldn't even fathom.
Yeah, I've always heard, like, if you're getting beat, just get to the ground and create a pile and then just hope for the best.
See, in the end, a lot of the people that I see, as soon as you see them drop to a knee, that's like, dudes start dogging them because it's like, yeah, that guy's quit right there. He's just taking a knee out. Not for the anthem, though. We got to get to a break. Please say whatever you want.
Hello.
This is... We'll come back on the other side. I mean, I got to read something here, but it's 47 bullet points. Some things I'm allowed to say, some things I'm not allowed to say.
I'll do it.
I don't have... Yeah?
Yeah.
There you go. Good luck. Here, let's not go to a break. There we go.
Oh, this will go great. Please say whatever. Wow, you weren't kidding.
Get to it, dude.
You know your audience best, so please lean towards the natural content. You guys know who Steven Singer is?
Yeah. Big fan of him.
You like him, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, I hate Steven Singer.
Is that right?
Yeah, let me tell you about it. He's got 24 karat gold dip roses. You know what a rose is?
Oh, love rose.
Love roses, right?
Yeah.
They're the best. He's got gold ones. Think about that. 100-day, 100% money back guarantee. I mean, that's incredible. It even arrives in a Steven signature gift box.
Really?
Shipped for free.
Wow.
Free means no money. That means it costs nothing.
$0?
$0.
Wow, nothing's free anymore.
Well, when you hate Steven Singer, this stuff is free. Steven Singer is the #1 place for diamonds and diamond jewelry. Real jeweler, real people, real experts in real diamonds. That's not your average stuff from a jewelry store.
No.
This isn't K Jewelers, all right? This is a real...
This ain't crap.
No, this isn't crap. This is a real guy right here. Literally, no risk shopping, 100-day warranty, free shipping both ways.
He's just gonna read every bullet.
Yeah. Just go down the line. No nonsense pricing or haggling. No coupons, codes, phony sales, discounts. No BS.
Wow.
Anything you want to do, they will support. Organic is the best. So if it makes sense, work us in. I hate Steven Singer, but I mean, I love this ad read.
Is there a call to action?
Oh, there is a call to action. Let's take a look here. I can't find the call to action.
Go to IHateStevenSinger.com right now with free shipping and free returns, 100-day, 100% money back guarantee. 24 karat gold dipped roses. Look like a hero this Valentine's Day. It's coming upon us fast. Even though Christmas and New Year's just passed, the holiday of effort and the holiday of love is almost upon us. Get your lady a 24 karat dipped rose and enjoy the hell out of that sex you're going to have. 11:38 Eastern Standard Time. That was not on the ad. 8:38. We'll finish up with some phone calls and some more takes. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. Congrats to the LSU Tigers, national champions of college football.
Hey guys, if you're experiencing erectile dysfunction, you can now get treated anywhere. Like here, even here. Okay, maybe not there. That's why we built Roman. So it's easy to get ED meds prescribed online delivered to your door. Just visit GetRoman.com, chat with a U.S. licensed physician, and if treatment is right for you, you'll get genuine medication delivered in discreet packaging. Get started with your free online visit at GetRoman.com/TV.
Hot mic. Is Sidney Crosby back?
He's back.
Sidney Crosby, the Pittsburgh Penguins' greatest hockey team to ever exist. Going to win a Stanley Cup yet again. Welcome back to Hockeytown, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We are currently in Indianapolis, in Detroit.
Come on.
Detroit and Chicago.
Oh, don't bring me into this.
At the current moment are the two saddest sports cities that exist.
We had a great decade last decade.
I agree.
Great decade.
I agree. You guys had a great run last decade. Great decade. And then the one before that, too, that they're making a documentary Justin Timberlake was crying about. Great decade there, too.
Oh, yeah.
But in this current one that we're in, Chicago and Detroit, potentially the worst run of sports in the history of the run of sports.
I don't think so.
I have no argument.
Yeah.
I don't.
Can't.
Detroit, you guys called yourself Hockeytown the loudest, and you guys thought if you just talked louder than everybody else, it would stick. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is Hockeytown.
That's just wrong. We are Hockeytown. We'll always be Hockeytown. The issue is
Name
Pittsburgh.
2 hockey players right now.
Henrik
on the
Zetterberg,
Red Wings
Steve
currently.
Yzerman,
On the current
Nick Lidstrom.
on the current Red Wings right
Those
now.
guys are all on the Red Wings still. Brett Hall,
Nope.
Fedorov.
I mean, Osmond's the GM, but he's not playing.
None of those guys are on the team. None of those guys are on the team. None of those guys have laced their skates in the last 25 years.
Larkin, he's good.
I don't even know if that's
Dylan.
that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just saw that on the tweet. He
No,
literally just
no,
saw that on a tweet.
No, he's a Michigan guy.
Yeah,
That's
he's
why I
from
know.
Michigan.
He's been there his
Anyways,
whole life.
hockey. Who's going to be good? Who's going to win it all?
Well, tough question. Let's say Tampa's getting hot, and they're on a revenge tour from last year after they blew that historic season.
Okay.
Nashville's heating up now after firing their coach.
Tim McGraw was down there at that stadium last night playing. I didn't know he was an LSU
And
fan.
the Bruins look really, really good. They just can't win in overtime or shootouts.
Well, I just watched a Boston Bruin guy miss the puck on a shootout.
Brad Marchand.
That could be just like everything that's happened with the Patriots. That could be the turning point for the Bruins.
Yeah,
if
probably.
in a shootout you miss the puck to start the shootout, that
It's tough.
is probably a kiss of death for your team. Sidney Crosby's back. Go ahead and hammer the Pittsburgh Penguins to win the I would assume they win the cup in 4.
Deal. Over the Blues. Blues look good. They won the cup last year. They're still hot, but
They have that big dude. Who's that big guy?
Chris Pronger.
he was big.
I don't know. That's hockey talk. Is there any news that we missed?
Yeah, there's the internet's in love with this 100-year-old giant tortoise, Diego, who's got to return to the Galapagos Islands after basically saving his entire species. He mated and brought the species back from 15 to over 2,000 specimens.
He was giving a standing ovation in the back. I respect that. Good for Diego out there slinging kids all over the place. Anything else?
The New York Jets joined TikTok yesterday, and it's already a disaster.
Oh, God.
You can't turn. TikTok is something you're not supposed to be doing.
No.
We have a tinfoil cap wearing conspiracy theorist that has been on something for like a month now. TikTok, I guess, is all their mainframes or whatever databases, servers are owned by China. So everything you do is technically owned by China under the U.S. Army, and I think the government is not allowing their people on TikTok because of what we've been told is potential deep fakes that could ruin your entire life because they're catching your every movement, everything, and they store it in China, so there's nothing you could do about it. Now the Jets are getting on there, obviously late to the game, and giving China away.
Yeah, so they did a video.
Is Adam Gase doing anything? Is he doing press conferences on her?
I don't. They deleted their one TikTok already. I don't know if they've done
It was
any
a
more
weird
yet.
video.
They had a
can't
girl.
stop.
They had a TikTok influencer who is Addison. I guess she's very big on there, and they do a meme trend where it's a duet, where it's a split screen. So on the right side of the screen, she dances, and she was shaking her ass, and something flies out of her butt. Okay, the Jets did it where a football flies out of her butt, and they snapped it right to the quarterback. It just looked bad.
They made Sam Darnold do that.
I don't think it was actually Darnold, but
I was going to say, has he not done it? I've been through it enough. The guy had mono.
People say that's how he got mono.
Big pink eye story. Let's go to Ricky in Benton, Illinois. What up, Rick?
Hey, how are you, Pat?
Rick, you on TikTok?
No.
Smart. Good move. Smart. Ricky's a smart guy. Go ahead, what do you want, Rick?
No, TikTok's for chumps. On November 10th, Titans beat the Chiefs 35-32. On November 24th, the 49ers beat the Packers 37-38. So my question for you is, who are the 49ers going to beat in the Super Bowl?
I like that you just ruled out the Packers completely.
Yeah, some stooge from Illinois.
No, well, he said TikToks for chumps. We were on his side there for a little bit. I guess. Actually, I enjoy the TikTok videos that venture out of TikTok land into my land because they're the most ridiculous things of all time, which I respect and appreciate. Not a lot of people are giving the Packers a shot against the 49ers. I don't think people are giving the Packers a shot against a lot of teams
all year.
But this is how they win. They win these close games, these gritty games, which could potentially happen with San Francisco for sure. I would obviously assume, I don't know what the line is. What is the line?
7.5.
That's a lot of points to not have Aaron Rodgers. But let's say that whoever wins the NFC, who do you feel with Chiefs or Titans? I think the Titans have all the makings to beat the Chiefs, right? You keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. Maybe you can keep him and all the weapons off the field. But his Titans team has been ruled out even more than the Packers have been since, week 10, week 11, whenever Tannehill got in, whenever it was. He won, 7, so probably week 6 or whatever when Tannehill got in. Nobody had a clue what was cooking in Nashville, and they were just unbelievably hot. To go into Baltimore, although Baltimore looked rusty after the 3-week break, get that win. Now they got to go into Kansas City. The Chiefs do not want to play against a team like the Titans. Not granted, they didn't want to play the Ravens either. This is the AFC Championship. You don't play against anybody. But the Titans have the recipe to potentially beat a team like the Chiefs. The only issue is, even if you win the time of possession 54 minutes to 6 minutes, the Chiefs potentially score 75 points in that 6. They could have put up 100 points this past week if they wanted to. They could have put up 100 points. There was no stopping them. They got punched in the mouth, and they responded. That's a big mental grit test. I think the Chiefs are obviously going to go in there and get a win, but I think the Titans have a chance to pull this thing off just strictly because I like the mentality of the Titans. I'm hoping they get it. What's the spread of that game?
7.5.
So I'm going to bet both Packers and Titans, but I'm assuming that it's going to be a win for the other teams.
I don't think it'll necessarily happen, but the Titans they're not really built to play from behind. Like if they don't, come out early hot and be competitive, and the Chiefs get up like 17 or 14-0, like it's going to be very difficult for them to match that pace.
But you got to remember that to score points, you have to score points.
That's right.
True.
Very true.
Well said.
Titans did beat the Chiefs earlier this year with Tannehill.
So did the Colts.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. Who's going to feel more disrespected this weekend, the Packers or Richard Sherman?
Cody in Sarasota, Florida.
Richard Sherman.
Yeah, Richard Sherman.
Cody in Sarasota. What's up? How about him reading off his whole resume, by the way, that press conference? I loved it. Anytime you step up there and you just go ahead and flop that thing right on the table and say, this is how I feel, by the way. And everybody can eat a bag of baby makers. I love it about Richard Sherman. By the way, grown enough to apologize to other people, too. I'm a Richard Sherman guy.
Yeah.
I am a Richard Sherman guy, especially with how he's performed. Don't throw it towards 25. Like last night, that Stingley Jr. kid don't throw it towards 24. You don't throw it towards Richard Sherman for a reason. And that's just a real thing. Before we get out of here, let's get to a couple phone calls. Cody down there in Sarasota, Florida. What's going on?
Yo, what up, Pat?
What's up, dude? What's up, dude? Hey. What's up, dude?
What's up, dude? Yeah, what's up, dude?
What's up?
Loose, man.
What's up, dude?
You think they're talking about people possibly trading up to get Burrow? I think the team to do is probably Miami. They got the most draft capital. They got like 5 first-round picks in the next 2 years and 49 picks in this year's draft. So what do you think about that?
Cody with the big-time play right there. Cody, before we have to get to the hard out to send you into, I think, Jim Rome, Hall of Famers next. Hey, I feel like Joe Burrow has some Ryan Fitzpatrick in him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I feel like he does, that grit. Now, granted, he's not a Harvard guy like Ryan Fitzpatrick, but he's got that grit, that will to win. That would be a play for the Miami Dolphins to make.
Tough
as hell. I don't think he'd be distracted by South Beach, which has been pretty victorious against a lot of players down there in the Miami Dolphins organization. I think Joe Burrow is mature enough to handle that. Maybe the Dolphins make a play. He loves cigars. If the Bengals don't bring Joe Burrow back to Ohio, the Bengals fans should just not show up to a stadium once.
Ever.
But that's a real conversation that's going to happen for the next couple months. Who's going to go get Joe Burrow if it is in Cincinnati? I'll be excited to see it. Kid's going to be good. It was an honor to watch him last night, just like it was an honor to share the airwave with you fine gentlemen in here. Thank you so much for listening, watching, wherever it was, whether it's on our YouTube, DAZN, Westwood One, or CBS Sports Radio. You're the absolute greatest. We'll be back tomorrow with a little bit more sleep. This has been the Pat McAfee Show from Indianapolis, Indiana! Cheers. Jim Rome's next.